Tom Hanks must really like movies where he saves people. Saving Mr. Banks stars Emma Thompson and Tom Hanks, and this movie is based on the true story tale of the author of Mary Poppins being very reluctant to sell the film rights to Walt Disney, played by Tom Hanks. Emma Thompson plays P.L. Travers, the author of the original Mary Poppins, and this story is extremely dear to her, and this film's about why that story is so dear to her, why it relates to her past. You see Colin Farrell as her father when she was a youth, and you get the past story of her youth along with the present, and you get to see how those two stories mesh together. I heard a lot of good things about this movie going into it, and that's to be expected with talent like Emma Thompson and Tom Hanks involved with it. These are two really good actors, and they both shine in this movie, especially Emma Thompson. I don't know anything about the author of Mary Poppins. All I know is that she was great in the movie. Now, she plays this character who's, at first you're like, wow, this is an extremely uppity, annoying woman, like the biggest, like, just ice queen. You don't want to be around this girl ever. She has a problem with virtually everything that anyone does. She's got, like, no friends. Paul Giamatti plays her driver, and through him, you can kind of start to see maybe a shred of humanity in this woman, but it's really in the backstory where you watch her as a youth growing up with Colin Farrell as her father, where you really get to understand why that story is so dear to her heart. Tom Hanks plays Walt Disney, as I said, and I wonder if he was good in the movie. Oh yeah, he's Tom Hanks. He was really good in the movie. There are moments when the movie gets a little overly sentimental and kind of melodramatic. It kind of hits you with all those cliched Disney punches of certain things happening where you're supposed to feel really bad. But there was one legitimate moment in this movie that really did touch me. And for that reason, I obviously was hooked to the emotional part of the story, even though some of it did get a little cheesy. Colin Farrell was also very good as her childhood father. I like him a lot as an actor, and he added a very important element to this movie that really helped a lot of the emotion pay off. But really the most entertaining part of this movie for me was watching Emma Thompson and Walt Disney try to make this movie together and try to figure out how they could make this film. Because I've always loved filmmaking from when I was a teenager, and I used to do that with my friends all the time. We'd sit down, we'd draw storyboards, we'd write out scripts, we'd think about music we could make, and we did that kind of stuff as a kid. So it was really entertaining to try to watch these characters figure out how to make the film, and that was my favorite aspect of this movie. So whenever it went back to the past, I wasn't quite as invested in that element of it, but I still understand why it's there, and it definitely added a lot of emotion to the film. Emma Thompson is terrific in this movie. She definitely shines in this role. She's the kind of character where at first she seems a certain way, but you can really tell there's a lot of stuff behind her. As Christopher Walken said in Seven Psychopaths, it's got layers. I did feel the movie was just a tad bit too long though, maybe by like 10 or 15 minutes, but there's definitely a lot of touching scenes in this movie, and the central story was very interesting and makes you look at Mary Poppins in a different way as well. Some people have looked at this movie and said it was just kind of a lot of propaganda to make people love Disney a lot, and I can see why they would say that, but I still think that it was such a well-acted movie, and it was made with a lot of care, so I'm going to give Saving Mr. Banks a B+. Guys, thanks very much as always for watching, and if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.